Have you ever noticed something strange? The smartest person in the room is often the one who says the least. While everyone else is trying to prove how much they know, they're simply watching, listening, collecting information. And somehow, when they finally speak, everyone pays attention. Why? Because silence isn't emptiness, it's power. Most people think confidence means talking louder, speaking faster, and having an opinion about everything, but psychology suggests the opposite. In fact, one simple habit can instantly make you appear more intelligent, more confident, and more respected. Let's find out why. Imagine two people walking into a meeting. The first person starts talking immediately. They interrupt others, share every idea that comes to mind, and desperately try to sound impressive. The second person barely speaks. They observe, they notice facial expressions. They pay attention to what people are saying and what they're avoiding. At the end of the meeting, the quiet person says only one sentence, and suddenly, everyone nods. Who do you think people remember? Our brains naturally associate scarcity with value. Gold is valuable because it's rare. Diamonds are expensive because they're limited. The same psychological principle applies to words. When someone speaks all the time, every sentence loses impact. But when someone speaks rarely, every word feels important. That's called the scarcity effect, and your brain falls for it every single time. But there's something even more interesting. Most people talk because silence makes them uncomfortable. Think about the last awkward silence you experienced. Didn't you immediately feel the urge to fill it? That's because silence creates psychological tension. Our brains hate uncertainty, so we rush to speak, even if we have nothing meaningful to say. The smartest people understand this. They don't fear silence, they use it. Negotiators know this trick. After making an offer, they stay completely silent. The other person becomes uncomfortable. Then they start talking. They reveal more information. Sometimes they even negotiate against themselves. The person who controls silence often controls the conversation. Now here's another secret. People love talking about themselves. In fact, studies show that talking about ourselves activates the brain's reward system in a way that's surprisingly pleasurable. That's why someone who asks thoughtful questions often seems more interesting than someone telling amazing stories. It sounds backwards, but it's true. When you genuinely listen, people don't just feel heard, they feel understood, and the brain remembers that feeling. This is why great leaders aren't always the loudest people in the room. They're often the best listeners. Because while everyone else is preparing what to say next, they're learning. Every conversation becomes free information. Every person becomes a teacher. Think about detectives. Imagine trying to solve a mystery while talking nonstop. Impossible. You'd miss every clue. Life works the same way. The quieter you become, the more details you notice. Tiny facial expressions, changes in tone, hidden emotions, unspoken intentions. Most people never see these things because they're too busy waiting for their turn to speak. But here's where many people make a mistake. Being quiet doesn't mean being shy. It doesn't mean lacking confidence. And it definitely doesn't mean staying silent because you're afraid. There's a huge difference. Fear stays quiet because it's scared of judgment. Confidence stays quiet because it doesn't need validation. One comes from insecurity, the other comes from strength. Can you feel the difference? Now imagine someone insults you. Most people react instantly. They defend themselves, raise their voice, try to win. But someone emotionally intelligent pauses, just for a few seconds. That pause changes everything. Instead of reacting emotionally, they respond intentionally. Psychologists call this creating space between stimulus and response, and inside that tiny space, you regain control. Control over your emotions, control over your words, control over your life. Here's another fascinating observation. The people who constantly try to prove they're smart usually end up looking insecure. The people who never need to prove it rarely have to. Real confidence doesn't announce itself. It doesn't beg for attention. It simply exists, like a mountain. It doesn't need to convince anyone that it's tall. And finally, ask yourself one question. When was the last time you regretted listening too much? Probably never. But how many times have you regretted saying too much? Exactly. The next time you're in a conversation, resist the urge to fill every silence. Observe, listen, think. Then speak only when your words add more value than your silence. Because anyone can make noise, very few people can make silence unforgettable. And sometimes, the loudest proof of intelligence is
having nothing to power at all.